Hello BookTube, my name is Elizabeth and welcome back to the Owlery. Today is Vlogmas Day 14. It is also Wednesday, which means it is Top 5 Wednesday. If you are not familiar, Top 5 Wednesday was created by Ginger Reed Slaney and is now run by Sam over at Thoughts on Tomes. Every Wednesday we get a topic and we pick our top 5 from that topic. Today's topic is book series or TV series that got continuously worse. So let's go ahead and get started. First is the Splintered series by A.G. Howard. Splintered was fantastic and I loved it, but Unhinged was meh, and Ensnared was just complete crap, and I just really didn't like it. And I was super bummed because I love Alice in Wonderland retellings, and especially since, this is probably the first Alice in Wonderland retelling that I ever read, and I really, really liked it. But since reading this, I've read several other Alice in Wonderland retellings that were much, much better. So while this first book I think was really good, I just didn't like the direction that the plot was going in, and I didn't like how the whole series ended. So I know there are some people who really love this series and think it's a great retelling for Alice in Wonderland, but I just really didn't like the direction that it went in, and the characters really kind of lost their appeal for me, and I just wasn't impressed with the last two books in this series at all. A graphic novel series that I'm really disappointed in lately is Sex Criminals by Matt Fraction and Chip Zdarsky. This is just getting so weird, you guys. I mean, for a graphic novel that's called Sex Criminals, you would expect it to be weird, and it is. It's about two people who meet that find out that when they have sex, that time stops, and they rob banks, and the reason why they robbed a bank was actually for a pretty noble reason, I guess, if there is a noble reason to rob a bank, but the way that the comic is written just is getting worse and worse. Like, in the third volume, I read it by issues. I bought the first volume, and then after that I bought all the issues for it. So I think the issue that's in the third volume, Chip Zdarsky and Matt Fraction break the fourth wall, which basically means that, and it's not here, but like there was like a whole, oh, that is too graphic for you guys. Let me find a non-graphic. So basically there was like a whole page where all of the panels were pictures of Matt Fraction and Chip Zdarsky talking back and forth to each other. Like, it was breaking the fourth wall, and they were basically like, so here is a scene where we were going to do this, but we didn't for whatever reason. And then, like, the first time it was funny. When they did that in the first time, I think it might have been the second volume, I don't know. It was really funny. And then they just kept doing it. Like, every single issue, they would do something like that. And it just got really annoying. And it ended up being, like, 2 whole pages of panels where them breaking the fourth wall in some way. And it was just really annoying. And then they met like other characters who could do this ability who were just weird, and I don't know, it just got too weird for me. And I had like a 30-minute conversation with these guys at the comic book store about how they loved it, and that's fine. I guess it's just not for everybody. They really enjoyed it. They thought that the third volume was like the best volume out of all of them, but it just wasn't for me. So I mean, if you like that kind of thing, the weird, out there, breaking the fourth wall, very unique, very different, I will have to say. It is nothing like I've ever read before. I can recommend this, but it just got too weird for me in the more recent issues and volumes. So yeah, I had to stop reading this one. The Defy series by Sarah B. Larson, Defy and Ignite were like so good. They were fantastic. And then Endure, the third one, just completely missed the ball for me. Like, I don't know what it was. I honestly think it was the writing style. Like, the first 2 books had this feel to it that the third book just didn't, and I was seriously disappointed in it. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It's just, I just remember reading it, and I remember just not having any of the feelings like I had for the first 2 books. Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. I was not expecting to like Red Queen, and I loved it. And I almost didn't want to put this series in here because the third book hasn't come out yet, and I don't know what to expect from the third book. But like I said, I loved the first book. main character was a tad bit annoying, but it was still a really good book series. One of the very first dystopians that I've ever read that I was very impressed with. And then Glass Sword came out, and it was very disappointing. The main character was much more annoying, and the decisions that the characters were making as a whole pissed me off so badly. Like, they just were making these dumb decisions. Like, it makes me so angry just thinking about the stupid decisions that the characters were making, and like putting themselves at risk for no reason. And like, there were just an infinite number of ways they could have gotten out of trouble, but they did like the hardest, most difficult way possible, and it was just so annoying. And I feel like Victoria Aveyard just put stuff like in there to create conflict, and that was just, it was really annoying. So because I own the first two books, I'm going to read King's Cage, the third book in this series, out of curiosity to see how the story ended, because the ending of Glass Sword was actually really good. It was more like the beginning and the middle that was so annoying, but the ending was good enough to where I am interested enough to read the third book to find out what happens, but I am not going to have high hopes for it at all. The last series on this list, I am like really on the fence about whether or not I'm going to finish out or not, and it is the Fire Sermon series by Francesca Haig. The first one is the Fire Sermon, the second one is the Map of Bones, and the first one I really liked. It's about this world where everyone is born twins, but one is the alpha and one is the omega, meaning the alpha is pretty much perfect in every way, and the omega has some sort of like physical or mental deformity. And once the children are born and the omega is identified, sometimes if it's a physical deformity, they're identified immediately, or if it's a mental deformity or some sort of other deformity that doesn't, come about until later, then they are separated at a later age. But the omegas are basically like treated really badly. And the first one was really, really good. It was different, and I had never read anything like it, and it was just an interesting world and very well written. Then the second one really fell flat. Like, the plot line completely died for me. It was very forgettable. Like, I cannot remember for the life of me what happened in the second book. I might try to read the third one when it comes out in August 2017, just to kind of like jog my memory and see if I want to finish out the series. But I'm not really sold on it. I'm just kind of like on the fence. So I'm not sure. If you guys have read the series, let me know what you thought of it, because it's definitely not a very popular series. Make sure to check out my description below. That has all of my links, my social media, and places in the internet you can talk to me about books. And if you want to check out my most recent video, you can click right there, or if you'd like to subscribe, you can click right there. That would make me very happy. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!